Starting from the southwest corner of Loring Park, a large crowd would form of several hundred, which would immediately move off and walk down Hennepin Avenue into downtown. Following us from the start were many police. From this unmarked car, we would later see emerge Assistant Police Chief Sharon Levinsky. A large crowd would move back and forth through downtown, taking one direction of traffic. Along the way, I would ask many why they were here tonight and what they would rather do with the money the Afghan war is costing.
Because I thought I voted for a peace president, and now he's just escalating the war in Afghanistan. I thought he was going to bring the troops home and wrap things up, and that's not what his speech said last night.
I'm here because I oppose the surge in Afghanistan. I wasn't able to watch the statement. I was at a fundraiser with Representative McCollum, and I heard her defending her speech, and there were a lot of people there who were upset with the statement that she made, essentially in support of the escalation in Afghanistan.
Though they weren't with the marchers at the start, soon we were joined by mounted police on our left flank and bicycle police on our right. From the uptake, do you want to tell me why you're here tonight?
Oh, for sure. I've just known for a long time that we can't send more troops into Afghanistan. It's not the solution.
Did you watch the statement last night?
I did.
I didn't get to. Tell me your impressions of it. It made you come out tonight.
It didn't make me come out tonight. I knew I was going to come out if he was going to send more troops in. I have a lot of respect for Obama. It broke my heart to see him do that. I know he's under a lot of pressure. And I believe him when he says he didn't make the decision lightly.
I'm here to support what I believe is an encouraging moment in time when the people have to hit the streets and voice how they feel about what's happening. A lot of people, I think, are really confused at what I think is going on after Obama's speech. It's amazing how perhaps our intelligence has been insulted with the fact that 911 had nothing to do with Afghanistan itself, and the president said it did. And I know that he doesn't believe that. So, I mean, what's happening is we continue lies.
You thought things would change.
Nothing has changed. It's actually going to escalate and get worse. In fact, there's going to be more war crimes happening, I think, as we speak. And there's the Veterans for Peace has put out a War Crimes Times. It started about a year ago. And the issues come out of every 4 months.
Do you look at depleted uranium that way?
Well,
its half-life is 6 billion years. I think that it'll kill Iraqis for hundreds, thousands of years.
Yeah. And we be the people. What kind of a legacy are we leaving? Really nice. Well, that's why we're on the streets, and that's why I'm helping support the people who are on the street.
What would you rather spend the money on in this war?
Well, let's try healthcare for one, education. Teachers don't get paid enough. I mean, it's rampant, and people who are in poverty, no jobs, and it's like everything here seems to be imploding on the inside. Yeah, I was in Vietnam.
So, does this remind you?
Well, this reminds me very much. Well, actually, when I came back from doing a tour in Vietnam as a draftee in the Army, I wound up thinking that it was a patriotic thing to do until I showed up and I came back. Even though when I was there, I was just counting the days to get home and save myself, and never really knew why I was there in the first place. I thought it had to do with something, but I think a lot of...
And after a while, it was just survival.
Oh, absolutely, only survival. So I mean, a lot of people need to kind of try to understand maybe. I mean, as a Vietnam vet, I'm involved with Veterans for Peace and Iraq Vets Against the War. And
that was a war that had mission creep too.
Yeah.
To it that started as just a little gunboat thing and went out.
So yeah. The one thing I am kind of amazed at is that the police, with this particular spontaneous action, have represented themselves well in terms of allowing us to participate in something that they really consider is not legal. But that's cool. We are becoming, just like the bicyclists, we are a mass project of people on the street that I don't think is going to end, and it needs to continue with this kind of enthusiasm.
Do you want to tell me why you're here tonight?
I think it's really important to be out here after the surge of troops into Afghanistan has been announced. This troop surge is not going to bring peace to the people in Afghanistan. It's going to bring more war. We're going to see the same kind of bloodshed we saw this summer, both in terms of both for the Afghan people and for U.S. troops. And I am opposed to the surge, and we need to reverse the decision.
When did you decide to come out? Did you see the speech last night?
I did. I watched the speech last night very carefully. And I think, President Obama really tried to convince people like me that this was the right thing to do, but he's wrong. It is not the right thing to do. The war in Afghanistan is a morass. His 18-month timeline is not going to come to pass. We're going to be stuck in Afghanistan forever, and it's not going to bring security and stability for the people of Afghanistan to be under occupation for 9, 10, 11, 12 more years.
After an hour of marching, an intersection was blocked with banners. The Minneapolis police then gave warning and most of the crowd dispersed. Some, though, refused to leave and were arrested. Checking with legal observers afterwards, they weren't sure how many were arrested, but thought it was about a dozen.
East on 10th Street or north on 3rd Avenue South. You have 5 minutes to move. Alright, we got 5 minutes to
Tonight in Minneapolis, people of all ages marched to show they didn't support Obama's Afghan war surge. The media came out, the Minneapolis police turned out, and at times there were 3 helicopters overhead. But will these marchers and all this attention bring our troops home?